Hello. How's everyone doing today? How we doing? Hi, hi. I'm trying to be very quiet because it's super late and I'm very close to my mic and I don't want to blow everyone's ears out. Because it's one of those condenser mics. Yell in lowercase. Something like that, maybe. I have been very busy lately. I have not been able to stream on time like ever, period, because I've been helping my mom with a lot of stuff. I had to kinda move her out of her office, because she has like an office, so I did a lot of carrying stuff out. So that made me very tired. Today I was supposed to like read stuff earlier, but I started super late because I was tired. I'm probably moving like my stream times to like to maybe maybe 7 p.m. Eastern time, because I've been streaming at like 5-ish and that has not been working for me, period. So I need to pick a better time that kind of works and I can stay consistent with. But we're gonna read some stories soon, in just a bit. I just need to pull them up. There's like a whole... Yeah, I'm kinda busy-ish. I get very tired.
Boss Chop Chop just redeemed give cookie for 1 point.
Oh no, we have the text-to-speech. Oh shit. It kinda doesn't work as well right now. I might turn it off for the stream. We do have text-to-speech. You all will be able to like bother me and stuff. Oh yeah, we kinda got it. I have to silence text-to-speech. I think it worked. Did it work? Let me see. Let me throw myself a cookie at my head. It kinda worked. Okay. Whoops. I need to like calibrate the thing. I don't think object throwing is gonna work as well. Because it's gonna have like, it wants to throw it over here, but I'm over here. But I turned it off, Don't worry. I didn't think it'd do it for that one. I didn't think it'd do it for that one. I'm sorry. Alright, there's a scary story Reddit. Okay. There's a scary story Reddit. No, I can't bully the heck. Fucks. Listen. I gotta read my stories, man. Come on. I don't even know if this works. Wait. Oh, I didn't even have K-Bonk up. What happened? I think the cookie thing should work. Why isn't it working? Give me a second. I promise we're gonna be reading stuff soon. That's what we're here for, right? Do I really need to reboot my whole thing? Come on, man. Crazy, it's crazy. Let me try it again. Connecting to browser source vtuber. Wait, hold on, I have an idea. I'm gonna disappear for a second while I get this back up. Okay, so it does work. That's cool. I had to fix that. Alright. I'm gonna read something now. Alright. Ow! Jeez. Do I have to, like... Wait, how do I do this? Like, do I just show you on my monitor or something? Wait, we gotta, like... I gotta, like, turn on the transparent thing or something. How do I turn this background off? Whoa, not like that. Now the effects get all messed up. Where's my bedroom stuff? Where am I at? I'm gonna move me. Move me over here. Every summer, the kids in my town are forced to attend mandatory summer camp. Hell, a horrific secret part 2. Oh no. Murder is legal in my small town, but I am yet to kill someone. Our father kept a second family in the pipes. That's so long. Alright. I'm gonna read. Our father kept a second family in the pipes. Oh no. I need a hotkey for the room that I like. Turn on my items, put me here, turn on the evil look, or the dark look, or, alright. You guys gotta get like the really close view too, right? Where am I at? Where am I here? Let me just turn off the fucking bedroom stuff. Yeah, okay. This is more like it. Hi. Our father kept a second family in the pipes. Okay, we almost never spoke to them, though they always tried to strike conversation. They were amicable, polite, you know? They would ask us questions about our interests or how our day was, at least at first. Their soft voices would ooze out from the kitchen sink and the shower drain. Places like that. Sometimes they would follow us, my sister and I, around the house. Personal space. Oh man. They would slither through the pipes like snakes to whisper in our ears. Oh my god, I'm in so much trouble reading because I'm like all phlegmy after reading. They weren't always there. Dad brought them home sometime after Mom passed. She was on her bike. She was on her bike ride home from work when she was struck by a drunk driver. Fucker was going 80 miles per hour in a school zone. The police found several empty bottles of barefoot. in his Volkswagen Bug. I was 15 at the time, and my sister was 17. Oh no, not the barefoot wine. No! Mom was amazing. Dad didn't adapt well to life without her. None of us did. But he was completely despondent for every bit of 2 years. All day, every day, he would sit expressionless. If it weren't for sleeping and drinking, I doubt he'd have done anything at all. It pissed me off that my father would turn me to the same vice that caused the accident. I never told him that. One day, Dad danced in through the front door like nothing had ever happened. He wouldn't tell us why he was so happy, not at first, which was frankly a little frightening. We worried that he had found something new to live for, something that we might not fit into. We were relieved to learn that he would not be abandoning us. Oh, thank God. He said he'd invited some special guests over to stay for a while. We probably should have been more concerned, especially when these guests never seemed to arrive, but we were just scared kids. We just wanted him back. Dad had been his usual happy self for another 2 years before Olivia came tearing out of the bathroom, screaming about hearing voices. She ran into the kitchen and breathlessly told us that she had been brushing her teeth when she heard a group of people speaking to her from the sink. Dad's smile faltered at that. He assured us that it was nothing, that Olivia had just imagined it. Damn. Gaslighting. He took her temperature, and the thermometer read 101.3 Fahrenheit. He didn't realize that he had heard the hairdryer running that whole time that he had been searching for the thermometer. As he sent us off to bed, he plastered on what he must have thought was a reassuring grin, but it was too late. I had seen the look in his eyes when his face fell. It was a look that said, "Oh shit." This is goofy. This is so goofy. To me, it's goofy. Alright. I sat in the bathroom for a while that night, doing my best to be absolutely silent. I thought that they wouldn't talk if they knew I was there, but I had it all bass awkward. This is what it bass backwards. This is what it says. Bass backwards. It wasn't until I knocked a bottle of soap onto the floor that they spoke up. "Oh, hello. You must be Matthew. It's lovely to meet you. We're..." Whatever the next words were, I couldn't hear them over the sound of my own screaming. I ran as fast as I could to my bedroom and hid under the covers all night. Up. We asked our father about them the next morning. He wouldn't talk about it until I told him my experience to affirm Olivia's story. I gotta lean in closer. Okay. He said those voices in the pipes belong to his other wife. And his other children. He said it the same way that somebody says the grass is green, as if we should intrinsically understand the bizarre bullshit he was spewing. Beyond that, he would only tell us that they are important to him and that he loves them every bit as much as he loves us. We heard him screaming in the bathroom that night. I tried to ask what was wrong, but he just yelled at me to go to bed. I cried myself to sleep. I think we both did, but I couldn't bring myself to ask Olivia, my sister, about it. Things changed after Olivia and I became aware of our father's other family. Dad seemed to be less happy with his other family and more just plain obsessed with them. We were losing him again. Aw. One sec. Watching him slip away from us made a certain amount of sense the first time. We lost our mom and he lost his wife. That crushing despair and sudden loneliness could defeat anybody. I never blamed him for it the first time, but the second, I still don't think I've forgiven him for what those days were like. He would lock himself in the bathroom for hours and spend time with his second family. Our dinner started to shrink while the amount of pureed meat he poured down the drain grew. Oh. It didn't take us long to recognize that we were no longer the priority, and it didn't take long after that for resentment to sprout within our hearts. I think the story just became serious. They started to mess with us more often. One day, they called me a litany of slurs and told me to jump off a bridge. Oh. The next, they read out every word of Olivia's diary. At least that's what I assumed, based on how long it took them to stop. I didn't want to help them intrude on her private life, so I went outside. I stopped showering after my father's other wife made a pass at me from the shower drain. This is a bizarre story. Small things started to go missing from the bathrooms in the kitchen area. Toothbrushes, lotion, chess pie, and several apples. I could go on. We tried to confront Dad. Once, Olivia and I screamed at the bathroom door as we pounded with both fists. He gently opened the door and spoke to us in a whisper. "You guys need to get out of here." And then louder. "You are interrupting family story time, and frankly, it is very rude." So that's what we did. We left the house for a little while, sleeping in the car and feeding ourselves with the cash we had swiped from Dad's dresser. We came back after a couple days. I'm still not sure if we were just going back to get more cash or if we were willing to try again with Dad. We never got the opportunity for the latter. The house appeared to have been ransacked. Every edible morsel had disappeared. Presumably down the drain. We found our father slumped over the bathroom sink with a knife in his hand. His skin was gray and his eyes looked glassy, like a doll's eyes. Ew. Chunks of flesh had been hacked out of him. A bloody scrap of his thigh, still clutched in his fingertips, lay dangling over the drain. As Olivia and I stood in horror, we watched a long, slender appendage, like a butterfly's I don't even know what that word means. Proboscis rise from the drain and yank the ragged piece of flesh out of our father's cold, dead hand. Oh no. That's not good. Oh no. It didn't hurt as much as it should have, which hurts in its own way. I think I must have gotten used to the idea of losing him. Or maybe I just hated him enough in that moment to pretend I had. I numbly dialed 911, and after explaining the situation, I took one last glance at my father's corpse. I wanted to cry, but the tears never came. I tried to tell the cops what had happened when they came to collect what was left of Dad. They just threatened to have me committed if I kept making shit up. Olivia didn't bother trying to explain. We were both asked a lot of questions. The cops put us under orders not to leave town, as we were suspects in our father's murder. I was devastated when I heard that news. The only thing I wanted to do was put as much distance between me and what used to be my home as possible. Olivia's barely contained sobbing told me she felt the same way. The state was not comfortable with leaving two minors unattended. So my Aunt Gertrude came down to stay with us. To her credit, she tried really hard to understand. There was no real way for us to explain to her why we weren't brushing our teeth or bathing as much as we should have been. My father's other family didn't seem to want Gertrude to know about them. The few times we tried to show our aunt the second family her brother had adopted, they went silent. In hindsight, it's obvious what they were doing. They wanted us to feel isolated so that we would talk to them. Then they could manipulate us the same way they had done to Dad. They spoke in his voice sometimes, the rich timbre gently vibrating the pipes on its way to do the same to our eardrums. He said he was happy He said we could join him and his second family in the pipes. I always told myself that there was nothing of my father in the thing abusing his voice. But to tell you the truth, I'm not sure I cared if there was. We weren't going to take it anymore. Did you get it? Olivia asked after school one day. I had been playing hooky and buying supplies. One second, I got a little scratch on my nose. Nose is itchy. 5 bottles of Drano, styrofoam, and gasoline, just like you said. I felt proud of myself for getting exactly what she had requested. What's it for? Napalm, came her reluctant reply. In the meek way she said it told me that she knew it was absurd. I argued how insane her plan was the whole way home. In the end, she relented and we agreed it would be an absolute last-case measure. 5 bottles of Drano later, and our father's other family had only reacted with groans of mild discomfort, like how you might sound if you got splashed with water on a cold day. I was desperately trying to brainstorm other ideas when they stopped groaning and spoke again. You're wasting your time. It's better down here. It was our mother's voice. Oh, so it's like their voice. I want to do like a spooky voice, but it's I'm not going to lie to you. We kind of lost our shit after that. Not with fear, but with anger at the audacity of this thing. It had taken our father, and now it was soiling the memory of our mother. We screamed ourselves hoarse and brought bedlam down upon the bathroom. We broke pretty much everything. We threw anything that wasn't nailed down at the sink in blind rage. After that, I collapsed against the wall, crying in a way that I hadn't since Mom had her accident. Olivia stood, shoulders shaking, in the doorway, looking as if she were waiting for permission. Olivia, I said, get the styrofoam. 20 minutes later, we had the napalm ready to go. One big bucket of fuck you for our response to our father's other family. As we carefully poured the gelatinous material into various strains, it muffled their voices, and our home fell truly silent for the first time in what felt like forever. We sat together and enjoyed that for a few minutes. Then we pulled a flare we had found in an old survivalist kit from the garage, lit it, and threw it into the small puddle of makeshift napalm left in the basin of the sink. We figured it might take some time to burn its way down into the pipes, but we underestimated how hot it would be in the meantime. Roughly 5 minutes past ignition, Aunt Gertrude, home early from work, burst in demanding to know what the horrible smell was. She had just enough time to process the wrecked, partially burning bathroom before she found out exactly what that horrible smell was. Oh, I lost my place. Here it is. The pipes under the sink melted away, and a gout of steam flung flaming napalm across the room, directly into the face of our aunt. Oh no. Everything she tried to do just made it worse. Wiping her face with her hands just set her hands on fire. Wiping her hands on a towel just set the towel on fire, which set the house on fire. Olivia and I fled to the bathroom as our aunt became a careening ball of flame, screaming her way from wall to wall. You could see from the hallway that the napalm in the deeper sections of the pipe had not yet lit. As much as I wanted to make sure the job got done, we had to leave. The whole house was going to be burning down soon. Damn, this is the definition of just burn the whole house down. Oh no. Okay. We tried to exit through the kitchen, but when we rounded the corner, we saw hundreds of their wet appendages rising out of the drain, thrashing wildly in search of us. They spanned the whole room, stretching and retracting, flinging furniture around and yanking whatever they could get hold of down into the pipes. The situation in each of our bedrooms was exactly the same as in the kitchen. I'm still not sure if they had been following us again, or if there were just that many of them. The bathroom in Olivia's bedroom was significantly closer to the door than my own. So when we opened her bedroom door, we found ourselves within their reach. The fire behind us had spread significantly, cutting us off from any chance of escape. Damn, the story got serious real fast. The door began to shake as our father's other family tried to work their tubular appendages around the doorknob. The door opened slowly, and we could only watch as the slender limbs approached us. They lashed out with all their skill and speed of a snapping turtle, missing their mark by mere millimeters. It wasn't until this moment that we got a good look at their proboscis. I still don't know what that word means. They were tongues, black as soot, and stretched beyond recognition. I thought it was over for us until our pursuers were intercepted by something that had come flailing down the flaming hallway. It was Aunt Gertrude, still fully aflame and still fully panicking. Oh no. Their black tongues yanked in unison, pulling on Gertrude across the room and down the drain with a sickening series of cracks, pops, and squelches, all taking place in the same half-second. Her body contorted wildly as she was pulled down the drain, bone by bone. Moments after they had taken her down, their screams began. Aunt Gertrude's still flaming corpse had ignited the napalm that had melted down into the pipes. They must have screamed with every voice they've heard, including mine and Olivia's. There was no time to mourn our aunt or to relish in the agony of the beasts. Now that the rest of the napalm had ignited, the fire in the house was growing exponentially. We ran through Olivia's now empty bedroom and jumped out of the window. The house burned to the ground. We didn't stick around to make absolutely sure they were dead, but we saw the thin shadows of their flailing appendages dancing on the burning curtains. That was enough for us to feel satisfied in washing our hands of it all. Olivia and I got in our father's 1993 Ford Bronco, and we left. We abandoned our old lives and identities entirely. We were already murder suspects. We were not about to beat arson charges, not to mention the accidental murder of Aunt Gertrude. So we just drove away without any idea where we were headed. Anywhere had to be better than what used to be home. Oh, though that was that was something. That was something. That was something for sure. I should like comment in like the Reddit description that I read it on the stream. I thought like some parts of it were funny, but that was good. I liked that. I'm gonna rest my voice for like 5 minutes and drink some stuff. I gave it a good solid up to, that's for sure. Alright, what else do we have? We can browse stories together. Actually, all I have to do is like turn off the glowy effect and then turn off the bedroom. Or turn this off, I mean. What else do we have here? I need to like not eat before I stream either because I get so phlegmy. And my voice gets all hoarse and stuff, and it's such a... Oh yeah, I get massive reflux, man. Oh, oh man, it's like really bad reflux. The animals around here aren't normal. How long are you? You're fairly long. I want something short now. Skeleton on the porch. Oh, this is short. Let's read the skeleton on the porch. Alright. I need to make a hotkey for this background because I like it a lot. It's the rainy bedroom one that I have. Spooky, spooky skeleton sending shivers down your spine. Something like that. Alright, let's start. Alright, we'll start as soon as I'm done retching and gagging here. Alright, skeleton on the porch. Tommy Morgan did not have the best life. Coming from a broken home, the young 11-year-old only experienced the worst. Oh, wait, come on, you are how old? I'm 32. But the young 11-year-old only experienced the worst. His father would return home, drunken like a skunk, and he would get into heated arguments with his wife over money, and how since he was the bread maker, he could do with his earnings what he saw fit. Tommy's mother would do chores around the house, her eyes red from sobbing. Tommy himself would receive whippings from his father for the slightest of offenses. It always came with the hollow assurance that it would build character. There were many things that the boy despised, his father being number one on his list. A day never went by in which he dreamed of getting revenge on him, but it was all but a fantasy. His father was big and stout, and far as Tommy was concerned, his father was an unconquerable Goliath to his David. Thoughts of running away crossed his mind, but he did not have the heart to abandon his mother to a brute. He thought that he would never be able to get rid of him, at least until that day. One of the few joys Tommy had in his life was Halloween. On that holiday, he could discard his miserable life and become anyone he wanted to be. The candy and decorations were also a plus for him. His father, despite everything else, would at the very least spruce the house up for All Hallows Eve with a spider made of old rags here and a papier mache ghost there. On a particular day, he brought home a skeleton. Be gooder. 32 inciting spooky scary and singing spooky scary skeletons and things shivers down my spine. Come on. I should do these streams more often. It's fun. It's fun as fuck. Okay, alright, let me continue. Alright, so his dad brought home a skeleton. The skeleton was roughly his size, being 6'5" in height. It was dry, with some visible cracks around the ribs and spine. It was missing a few upper teeth in the back, likely from years of wear and tear. Its hollow eye sockets were jet black and devoid of life. The bones, yellow with age, made a slight thump sound against the wall anytime Tommy's dad would swing the ancient artifact back and forth. It looked absolutely fragile in his colossal hands. He explained that he got the decoration from an old antique store, bragging about how much he swindled the store owner to get the skeleton cheap. He placed the skeleton in the bench on the porch and returned inside without much thought. Resuming his drinking, once more he got into a fight with Tommy's mother, this time over her wanting new curtains. Tommy left the house and sat on the bench with the skeleton. He vented his complaints to the decorative piece, not thinking much about whether he would be heard, but he nevertheless felt at ease talking to someone. From there on out, Tommy found himself loving the skeleton. Each day he would talk to it and would take care of it. Anytime leaves would fall on it, Tommy would blow them off with a leaf blower. When it rained, Tommy covered the skeleton with rags. For a second, he could have sworn that the skeleton was receptive to his acts of kindness. During one instance, when he was gently wiping the skeleton's arm, Tommy heard whistling. From the direction he was looking, it appeared that its teeth were clattering. However, Tommy chalked it up to the wind blowing through the skeleton's mouth. Beyond his days spent with the Halloween decoration, Tommy's life continued as normal. His parents would argue over the tiniest of offenses, and his mother would resume doing chores around the house with tear-streaked eyes. Tommy would continue to receive beatings that his father thinly veiled as discipline. During dinner, Tommy accidentally dropped a glass, causing it to fall on the floor and break into a million pieces. As his father was beating him, there was a sudden thumping coming from the porch. Alarmed, the three paused to listen to the sudden noise. Whatever was out there paced back and forth on the porch, stomping as hard as its foot would allow. With bated breath, Tommy's father approached the door, opened it, only to see the skeleton in its sitting position. Once more it was attributed... Oh, missed whole typo. That's not right. Once more it was attributed to the culprit being the wind. For the next few days, the thumping would continue. The repetition ate away at Tommy's father, spurring him to leave home and remain out for longer hours. In his dreams, he was tormented by the skeleton. He would find himself in bed alone. The skeleton appears at the foot of his bed and it slides over his body, just coming short of his neck. His dad would wake up with a jolt and refuse to sleep the rest of the night. However, Tommy's dreams were starkly different. He would receive sweets and other confections, and his father would be far away. The skeleton would stand by looking at him in the distance. Eventually, Tommy's dad couldn't take it anymore, and during a stormy night, he gathered the skeleton and tossed it in the back of his truck with little hesitation. Poor Tommy was awakened from his deep slumber, only to see the skeleton that he had cherished being driven away. He ran to the door, but the truck bolted to life and bucked its way off the driveway. Heartbroken, Tommy returned to his bedroom and cried himself to sleep. The next day, his father returned, and so did the skeleton. Surprised at first, Tommy was grateful that his friend was back. Even more bizarre, his father was kinder. When Tommy accidentally broke a plate, instead of whipping as he was anticipating, he was instead given a stern but fair warning about how he could have hurt himself. There were no more arguments over money, which meant that his mother was now at peace. Their marriage also improved, and the two seemed more in love with each other in all the years of their life. However, Tommy couldn't help but notice that his father was acting weird. He moved around as if he were a stranger in his own skin. His legs would wobble, his knees buckle from the smallest of movements. Sometimes the skin around his face would slide, forcing him to push it back up with his spare hand. Oh no. His jaw would hang agape as he ate, which translated to shoving food into his mouth at the back of his throat. Oh no. Tommy learned the truth on Halloween. When he stared at the skeleton on the bench, there were no cracks on the ribs. In fact, instead of being ancient, the skeleton appeared to be fresh and, dare say, even more lifelike than before. It even had a full set of teeth. Shocked, Tommy turned to look at his father, who stared at him for what seemed like an eternity before giving away. Oh no. Hey, I mean, W skeleton. Yeah. W Skelly. I want to see what else there is now. How long have I been going for? About an hour. I'll just keep reading. Also want to leave a comment. I wonder if there's like more scary stories I can read or something. Alright, so there's a... Wait a second. So this subreddit has... 30,000 weekly visitors, okay. What else do we have? Let me sort by hot. Not gonna lie, some of these Reddit stories are like this. These are nice. These are good so far. Alright, I found another story called I Found God's Bones. I think I'm giving out a good once over here. Oh, it's one of those stories that has like a lot of one-line sentences. Like one-line paragraphs, I mean. I'll give it a chance. Alright. Alright. I found God's bones. We have more bone-like stories. How close can I get here? I can get so close. I love getting distracted. Okay. I woke up choking on nothing. No water, no blood. Just air too dry and thick to breathe. It scratched its way down my throat like dust poured through a funnel. My eyes were already open, staring straight up at the sky, the color of dirty dishwater. It wasn't moving. No clouds, no wind, not even a sun. Just a flat sheet of gray that pressed down like a lid on a pot. I coughed hard and sat up fast. My spine popped. My tongue was dry. I wiped my face and looked at my hand. Dust, white dust, fine like ash, smeared across my palm. I looked down. I was lying on cold marble, or what used to be marble. Ah! Oh, fuck, oh shit. Hi, Neo. Welcome to Scary Story Reading. What's up? How was your stream? What did you do? What did you get up to? How did it go? But yeah, I got through like 2 stories. Chickened out of Homicipher after an hour, then went to Gotcha Land for more husbandos. That sounds like sounds about right. play a scary game. Was it scary? Was it scary? Oh fucking hell. I got the extra large cookie. What's Homicipher about? It's scary. Oh. Oh, scary cat. I had to go at this retreat there has bondos. Oh, I'm kidding. Sarcasm. But Reddit stories are seriously great so far. Linguistics and scary husbandos. Oh, wow. Scary linguistics. That does sound scary. Love your lighting though. Homicipher is a horror monster boy visual novel. Oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I had this lighting. I've been wanting to use it for something, but I had this model and there's like all I do is like this. All I do is this with it. I put myself right here. It doesn't do it justice. I just sit right here on my streams. Now I'm doing something fun. Or I can do this. I want to turn off my little things that I have. This and this. Big fox. Big. Yeah, big. What does the fox say? Huh? You guys know it? You guys know what the fox says? Oh, I also got some text-to-speech stuff, but I turned it off because I'm doing like, because I'm doing reading. Yeah, you got it. I'm so happy. I would know what the fox says if I had enough channel points. Well, that's why you should. Wait a minute. That's why you gotta stay until you can make me read something easy. What do I got here? I got. You guys can like throw cookies at me. I got. What does this look like? Let's read text. Yeah. Oh shoot, I forgot where I. I forgot where I was, I forgot where I left off. Oh no. You guys, you guys want to vote on a story? I was reading something. Can I make like stuff? Wait, I can show you guys where I'm at actually. Hold up. I have to like put myself over here sadly. Then I can just make myself go to the monitor. Then I turn this off. And now I have to turn this off because it doesn't play well with anything else but the lighting in the room. Boop. I was gonna read this one, which I still want to read it. I've been in this Reddit. It's so fun here. I'm trying to teach how my parents, how babies are born. Wait, is this sound scary? What is... What is this? I'm trying to teach my parents how babies are born. It's a hard task. And with all the things I need to help them with, like using a phone, using certain technological devices. Oh no. And I didn't. This is. I can't. Maybe I know. No. Is this. Okay. And I general help them with social media. I also have to teach them how babies are born, and I'm trying to tell them that I am their child through reproduction. They told me that. Yes, this is so... No, I'm not reading this. It's badly written. I can't, guys. I'm sorry. You were half expecting our RPG horror stories, to be honest. Yeah, we are in the... We're just in straight up scary stories. The demon is messing with a pregnant woman. I can't. I can't with these. I just can't with these story titles. My son has a fixation with mutilating Barbie dolls. Boy, Evan, stop sliding Barbie's head across the concrete. I don't know, Neo. I don't know. What if I tried to read this in as like the most serious way possible? I like try to not laugh. Alright, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read my son has a fixation with mutilating Barbie dolls, and I'll do I found God's bones, I guess, because that sounds kind of cool actually. Play it as straight as possible. Oh boy, I'm ready. Alright, let me turn on the... Alright, that's not that one, that's not what I want. Where's my rainy bedroom? Here it is. Oh, I can't wait. Alright, you guys ready? Wait, do I have like an angry face that I can use that makes me look serious? No, not that one. Alright, we'll do this. Alright, my son has a fixation with mutilating Barbie dolls. Evan, stop sliding Barbie's head across the concrete. Children have such little consideration for the things you give them. Fatherhood is not nearly all it's made out to be. Before I had Evan, I thought life would have purpose after having a kid. That did not happen for me. Please don't get me wrong, Evan is not bad. He's just not what I wanted. My perfect family didn't include the reality of what being a parent entails. Crying, discipline, and late nights have drained me over the past 7 years. And now, Evan is dragging his younger sister Emma's Barbie doll across the ground. I hear the grind as the plastic is pulled apart on the coarse, unmovable ground outside our Airbnb. Evan laughs as he does it while Emma is screaming at me to stop him. I walk over to the situation and take Barbie from him. I nearly had to pry the damn doll from his hands. When I looked at Barbie, her face was nearly completely peeled off. Bits of dangling plastic hang from her head, and there are now just indents for where her eyes used to be. Her hair is wiry and more akin to Gollum from Lord of the Rings. After I examined Barbie, I glanced up to find Evan staring at me smiling, clearly impressed with his work. Emma grabbed my leg and asked for her Barbie. I gave her the mangled doll and watched as her face twisted at the carnage inflicted upon the face of her friend. She began screaming at Evan, and I had to break them up. "How you doing, babe?" my wife Amy asked. "I'm fine now." It had been an hour since the kids had their meltdown, and Evan was now on the couch watching a movie while Emma played with her unmangled dolls. Upstairs. I'm sorry. It's funny how they can move on so quickly, yet I don't. They bother me. They get to me. I decided to get this Airbnb to connect with the family, something my therapist had recommended. Honestly, being this close to them has only made me hate them even more. Dealing with each of them on a daily basis is a chore that I have to do. In the beginning, I did not feel this way about Amy. It started after parenthood. I couldn't separate my discomfort with Evan from her, and that ruined our love. I don't love her anymore. She knows that because I've told her. "Hey, Reed, did you see that thing in the corner upstairs when we got here?" "What do you mean?" I replied with annoyance and confusion. "In the back bedroom upstairs. It's the empty one beside our kids' room." "Yeah, what about it?" I responded. "There was that rug in the corner upstairs. I feel insane saying this." It looked at me. What the hell did she mean? Amy has always been out there. I mean, she goes to the doctor over the smallest thing. What in the world could she be talking about? "Explain, Amy. That doesn't make sense. I have no idea what you're even talking about." She looked hurt, that face she always made when I spoke down to her. I feel awful, but as always, I'm not going to apologize. "Just go up there and look," she responded. Without responding to her, I got up and headed straight for the stairs. She was on about something, and now it was my job to make everything better. I planned this whole weekend. They should be thanking me, not asking me to do stupid shit like check on a damn rug. As I started up the stairs, Amy stated, "I love you, Reed. It's gonna get better." I ignored her and continued on. I rounded the corner following the stairs and saw the empty room at the end of the hallway. The lights were off, but daylight was peering in through the linen curtains. As I approached it, I looked in the bedroom to the right to find Emma playing with her dolls. I passed without saying a word. When I approached the empty room, I looked to the corner and saw the rug she mentioned. Nothing seemed off, so I walked in again and began rounding the bed towards it. The rug was old, worn, and had inscriptions of some other language on it. Probably some forgotten language, being that we were in the Appalachians. I have to admit, this was definitely very different from the suburbs. I touched the rug and felt its coarse mane. How old was this thing? My body locked. My throat began closing. I felt like I was in a small box. Was I having a heart attack? My arms began burning. before I knew anything else, my vision started fading. At least my misery would finally stop. When I awoke, I was on the ground. Everything was huge. I couldn't move. Was I paralyzed? What the hell was happening? All I could do was lay there. My thoughts were spinning. The underside of the bed was dirty. Cobwebs lined the wood holding it in place. All I could do was wait for my family to find me like this. After an hour or so, I heard Amy call for me. Once I didn't respond, she asked Emma to look for me. I heard every creak in the floor. It sounded like a grown man approaching. Before I knew it, Emma was right in front of me. All I could see was 2 huge feet. What the heck? What the F? Why was I this small? She gasped and picked me up easily. I was nearly the size of her head. "Mommy, I found a doll in the other room," Emma screamed happily. What was happening? As she took me to her room, my world was falling apart. How is this possible? Why me? I don't deserve this shit. After questioning my life, I found myself in Emma's dollhouse. Watching her eyes peer in at me was a bit uncanny, but what could I do? I tried screaming, but I couldn't. Someone was running up the stairs. Before I could consider what was happening, Evan ran in and snatched me from Emma's house. His grip was unbearable, and I could hear Emma crying to let me go as he ran back down the stairs. I couldn't breathe or see. The door opened. Fresh air. Evan stopped a few feet from the house and began laughing. Through his slick fingers, I saw Amy and Emma at the door to the house. Evan threw his hand to the ground, with my body inside it. My face connected with the concrete, and I felt the worst whiplash I've ever felt in my life. He began grinding. I was a doll. This shouldn't hurt. It did. My head was being grated on the hard surface. No plastic was chucking off. Bits of flesh were peeling from my face. My world soon went black as he reached my eyes. All I heard when I was lifted from the floor was a muffled Emma ask, "Why does the ground look so red and chunky?" Woo-wee! Cough, the author's barely disguised fetish cough. Yeah. Maybe. I liked it though. That was I wasn't expecting that twist ending. That was cool. I liked it. That was a fun one. Oh no, I'm all the way down here. Oh shit, no fuck. Alright, what else are we gonna get? Oh, what the? Oh, because I was scrolling. That's why my face went all the way down. It didn't. Oh, because I moved my mouse. Yeah, okay. I have to like make sure I click into the window in order to make sure that I stay on the screen. That makes sense. Okay. Whoops. Da, 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 da. I'm like leaving a comment on like all the stories. I like how, I don't know if the humor is intentional, but I just like read some things and I'm like, ugh, snort. Horror people are usually good at like humor. Because you have to have humor in like what you write in order to like make it actually, how do I put it? There's like a balance you need to strike when you write horror. Because if it's all serious, then it's like, ugh. You know, it's like you don't get like the same hit, but if you like put in some funnies like here and there, some out of left field funnies, and it's like, ha ha ha, and then you like lead up to the scary part, like the ending of that story, and it's like, oh geez, okay. That's why humor is important when you write serious things of any kind. I used to do a bit of writing. Humor is very good to have in any story. I wonder if there's any like Lovecraftian stuff. That stuff is less funny, but it's fun. Wait, should we read a Lovecraft short story? Wait, it might have slur. It might have bad words in it. Because Lovecraft was a bit of a yes. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think right now. I'm trying to see here what would be good to read from H.P. Lovecraft. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna read, I'm just gonna read that other story I found on Reddit. I found God's Bones. That seems like a good one. I'll start it from the beginning, though, because I was reading, and then you rudely readed me. Neo, you got me off track. How dare you? I blame you for everything. It's all your fault. Anyway, I found God's Bones. I love you all. Anyway, let's go. I woke up, choking on nothing. No water, no blood, just air too dry and thick to breathe. It scratched its way down my throat like dust poured through a funnel. My eyes were already open, staring straight up at the sky, the color of dirty dishwasher. Dishwater. Dishwasher. I need a new dishwasher, actually. That was a Freudian slip, maybe. That's what's on my mind. It wasn't moving. No clouds, no wind, not even a sun. Just a flat sheet of gray that pressed down like a lid on a pot. I coughed hard and sat up fast. My spine popped. My tongue was dry. I wiped my face and looked at my hand. Dust, white dust, fine like ash, smeared across my palm. I looked down. I was lying on cold marble, or what used to be cold marble. It was cracked and buckled, veins of dark moss splitting through it like it was trying to rot from the inside out. The slabs beneath me were wide and uneven. The edges had broken off in chunks, some missing entirely. Grass grew up through the cracks, but it wasn't any kind of grass I'd seen before. Thick, almost rubbery blades with a deep green color that faded to the black at the tips. I stood up slowly, knees clicking, my legs heavy, like I'd been lying there for hours, or days. The air had no smell, no wind, no sound, just that silence you only get at the end of something, like after a funeral, when everyone's already gone and you're the last one standing over the grave. Wow, this is pretty. This is a pretty story. pretty prose. There were pillars all around me, big ones. White stone, fluted, Roman or Greek, I didn't know the difference. Some were still standing, towering high enough to disappear into the mist above. Most weren't. Some were broken in half, others toppled over like matchsticks, their weight split into the marble ground. Vines climbed all of them. Some had crumbled from the inside out, stone dusting away in patches like dry rot. They didn't feel ancient. They felt abandoned. I turned around slowly, trying to make sense of this place. Behind me was a wide staircase, 10, maybe 12 steps, leading up to a pair of gates, or what used to be gates. They were gold, but not clean, tarnished, green in places, brown in others, black where rust had eaten deepest. The bars were bent. One of them hung open, crooked on a broken hinge, leaning out like it had been yanked and forgotten. Beyond the gate, a staircase stretched up into nothing. A long, wide set of steps, each one tall enough that I'd have to climb them both. Oh, I'd have to climb them with both hands and knees. They went straight up into the sky, vanishing into the fog. My stomach sank. This place wasn't just quiet, it was wrong. Like walking into someone else's dream halfway through, like a hotel hallway with all the doors open and no one inside. I walked forward. My boots scraped against broken tile. I didn't remember what I was wearing until I looked down. Black jeans, dark gray t-shirt, old boots with the left sole worn almost flat. Everything was dirty, dust-covered. My pockets were empty. My watch was gone. No phone, no wallet. My chest felt tight. I took a deep breath and swallowed hard. Then I started climbing the stairs. They weren't built for people. Each one was as high as my waist. I had to haul myself up, using my arms to push and drag, then catch my breath, then do it again. The stone was slick in places, pitted in others. Some steps were cracked, others were crumbling. I didn't count how many there were. I just kept climbing. There was no bottom, just mist. The ruins were gone behind me, swallowed up in the endless gray. I turned forward again and kept going. Sorry, I had to catch my breath. It felt like hours before the stairs finally ended. The top was flat, wide, a landing made of the same cracked marble, only this time without pillars, just open space. The mist pulled back slowly as I stepped forward, revealing what lay beyond. It looked like a city. Not a living one, not even a dead one, just the bones. Buildings stretched out on either side of a wide, cracked road. Tall arches leaned sideways, their peaks snapped up like broken fingers. Statues, angels mostly, lined the street, half crutched, wings missing, faces worn smooth. Some looked like they'd been burned. Others were stained with dark streaks down their chests, eyes gouged out, mouths split open. Some were holding swords. Some were reaching towards the sky. The gold was everywhere. Domes, trim, fixtures, but all of it was ruined, peeled, warped, split with hairline fractures. Black mold crept over everything in thin filaments. Vine with sharp, bark-like thorns had climbed up every surface. Trees grew sideways, roots splitting the pavement like tumors. And in the middle of it all, the road stretched forward, wide enough to drive 5 cars across, leading up to something massive in the distance. A building, a fortress, a temple. I couldn't tell what it was from here, but I felt it in my chest, like a weight tied to my ribs. I started walking. The closer I got, the more I realized the city wasn't just ruined, it had been torn apart. Buildings didn't just fall over, they looked like they'd been smashed, clawed. Some had holes in the walls the size of trucks. Others had black, scorched marks that had spread up the stone like ink in water. And then the bones started showing up, not human. The first skull was lying in a dry fountain, half buried in dust. It was massive, easily 3 feet long, with thick, flat teeth and wide eye sockets. Not round like a human's, oval, deep, too deep. There were marks carved into the bone, strange shapes, not letters, more like geometric patterns, spirals, concentric circles, lines that doubled back on themselves. I stared at it for a while, then I kept walking. More followed, skulls, femurs as thick as light poles, rib cages the size of minivans. Some were piled, some left in the open, some fused into the walls like they'd been absorbed by the stone. Everyone had carvings. Everyone was cracked, Some had rusted chains still wrapped around them. The silence stayed with me. My footsteps echoed against the stone like I was walking through an empty mall at night. The mist never fully cleared, but it pulled back just enough to let me see where I was going. Eventually, I reached the base of the structure. It wasn't a castle, it wasn't a temple, it was both and neither. The walls were higher than any building I'd ever seen. Not just tall, monolithic, made of dark stone streaked with gold, like veins in black marble. Towers rose at each corner, crooked, leaning, some broken halfway up. Vines clung to every surface. Statues lined the walls, their faces missing. The front gate was gone, just a hole, ripped open. Scorch marks blackened the edges. Skulls were piled outside, not just a few. Dozens, hundreds, massive ones, some larger than cars, and others the size of whole rooms, all cracked and silent. I walked through the opening. The floor was tile, gold inlaid with black. The pattern beneath my feet was beautiful, even in ruin. Interlocking stars, rings, geometric patterns that looked like they'd been drawn with a compass the size of a house. Some tiles were missing. Others had been smashed. Blood had stained the cracks. Dried, dark, sticky, even after who knew how long. The halls were wide, cavernous, ceiling too high to see. The walls curved inward in strange ways. Not wrong, but unfamiliar. Uncomfortable, like someone had built this for a shape that wasn't quite human. I kept walking, and the air grew colder. Not by degrees, but all at once, like crossing an invisible line. My breath didn't show, but my skin prickled. There were rooms on either side. Some were empty. Others had massive slabs of stone, like altars or beds. Some were covered in cloth that had rotted to strings. In one room, a pile of robes lay heaped on the floor, bloodstained. In another, a tall mirror reflected nothing. The deeper I went, the worse it got. More bones, not just giant ones, but human ones. Skeletons piled in corners, burned, crushed, fused into the walls. Some still wore armor, others had nothing but scraps of cloth. One still had a crown, dented, half melted, fused to the skull beneath. They weren't arranged, they weren't buried, they'd been left, discarded. I passed through a set of broken doors, both torn from their hinges. The hall beyond was silent. At the end of it, a light, pale, not warm, a glow like frost. I moved toward it. The room was vast. It didn't have walls so much as boundaries. The floor stretched out in every direction, made of the same black and gold tile. Pillars ringed the space, but they were so tall they vanished into the darkness above. The air was still, thick. I felt it pressing in on my chest. And at the far end of the room, the throne. I didn't see him at first. The size threw me. The thing on the throne wasn't a man, it wasn't a god, it was bone. White, weathered, endless. A skeleton seated, upright, head bowed slightly, arms resting on the arms of the throne. Each hand was the size of a city bus. The skull alone was as big as a house, cracked, one side shattered, the jaw hung open, teeth like gravestones. The rib cage arched upward like a cathedral dome. The spine ran behind the throne like a wall. The femurs stretched down to the floor, thick as towers. Bones were broken in places, chipped. A few were blackened, scorched like they'd been in a fire. He was dead. God dead, silent, unmoving. The throne was built into the room itself, not placed, formed, like the bones had grown there. The seat was fused into the stone, wrapped in rusted gold and cracked glass. Symbols covered every inch, the same kind I'd seen on the bones outside, only deeper here, sharper. Above his head, written in a language I didn't understand, but somehow read, were 5 words. He who made us is gone. I stepped closer, my breath caught. Inside of the ribcage, something glowed, a faint pulsing light, like a dying ember beating once every few seconds, dim, dull, almost gone. I stared up at the skull, and for a moment I thought it stared back. Then everything went quiet again, and I realized I was alone, truly alone. God was dead, and no one had taken his place. Ooh, that was good. I like that a lot. That was very pretty. I'll leave a nice comment for them. Maybe I'll just be the Storytime Fox streamer. This is fun. I can read like different kinds of stories and stuff. Let me see what else we got now. I might be here a while. I don't know. This is a vibe. I need to. Let me set my stuff again. I should make like a hotkey just for everything because I need to press everything. Thank you for the story. Hell yeah, of course. I'll be reading plenty more. Yup, I have some tea. Oh, fucking no. Ow, pain. I got water too. Water's right here. Oh. Let me sit up in my chair. Okay. I used to write so much and stuff when I was younger. I was... Be careful, you remind me of me, huh? I used to write a lot of stories. Maybe I should get back into that again. I want to like make like a sci-fi not D&D, a sci-fi TTRPG. I want to do like the map for it. I'm going over the numbers right now and I'm trying to like fit my stuff into like a bell curve or a few bell curves for the dice. Because when you design like TTRPG systems, you have to, like when you're making a system like from true scratch, you have to look at your bell curves very carefully. Because dice are like that. If you use d6s, it's less swingy. Bell curve matters more than if you use a d20, it matters a bit less. Let me get this going here. Okay, I'm gonna get us this again. Where's my transparency? Here we are. Let me turn off the glowy effect. Cat bath. Cat bath. Honestly, becoming a DM is a great way to force yourself to work through writer's block because you have a session coming up and you have to at least bullshit something. Yup. I used to DM a lot of tables. Then as you start doing that, you start getting into it. Yup. One thing I want to do is like have like a, well, let me think. I used to run like tables and stuff, but it's very hard. At least for me it is. D&D is D&D's still fun. I tried Pathfinder and I just couldn't get into it. I tried Morkborg and I liked it a lot though. One thing I want to do someday is have like a TTRPG stream. Where I like play the game with chat a little bit, or let them like vote on like decisions and stuff. It can be fun. Visits to the county fair. It seems like it... Oh, alright, did you miss my invite for a Mothership TTRPG campaign? I might have. Maybe I did? It seems like it was a little difficult to attach an audience for those. Yeah, I'd have to have, like, a lot of people. A lot of regulars. My problem is, like, having a schedule in the first place, because I've been so bouncy with my schedule. I'm probably gonna be like an evening streamer though. I'm gonna have like a new stream start time, because I can't do 5 o'clock like I wanted to do, sadly. It seems like... Oh, Neo has tried a couple of times and we wind up thinking it's a cool concept, but no one seems to stick around for it. Yeah, it's rough. It's always rough. What's all this stuff? Anything cool? What do we got? Let me start by... You know, let's start by new. Firebug. This one has no... This one has nothing. Let's read it. Firebug. We'll see what this is about. Let me fix all my stuff again and get it all together. Switch to that, turn on the glowy effect. Oh, I'm sorry about this screen, guys. Where is my thing? I need to get you. I really need to make a hotkey for the rainy bedroom. Alright. Hi. Oops, sorry about that. I have to move my mic around. Alright, let's try this. Alright. Another story for you all. It's called Firebug. It's by Heather Grimm on Reddit. Heather-Grimm. Okay. Let's read. I'll start mentioning like the author name, that makes sense. Alright, let's go. It seemed like it was the ash people always talked about. The way the fat flakes would gently drift out of the sky like warm snow, mocking the normality and beauty of winter. It seemed they never mentioned the way the smoke made you feel. How it made your thoughts fuzzy and unreal due to the toxins from the burning insulation and blast. I'm just confused. Or how, when the fire swept over the hilltops like a raging beast, even the cell towers would be destroyed. Wait, what? Leaving Emily cut off. I'm gonna pick another story. It reads strangely. Whenever something starts to read oddly, I will switch. Like that last story I read was perfect to read aloud. It was so good. Actually. Like was very well written. My mother-in-law said Saint Joseph would help us fix the problem, but then something far worse happened. Yeah, like, I will probably be bouncing around here for quite a bit. My job is to chop up dead bodies, and one of them finally stopped moving. Jesus Christ. What else we got? I thought hiding in my basement would keep me safe. It has 94 upvotes. It's by The Real Grape Vampire. Alright, it has 94 upvotes. It's probably good. It's very short too. Alright. For as long as I've been alive, this town and all the people in it have been nothing but ordinary. I was no exception. Ordinary grades, looks, family. When I graduated from college, I came back and bought an ordinary house. I was the most average person I knew. That's why I don't understand how I got mixed up in this mess to begin with. It started a year ago. People began disappearing from our town. 2 every month, always on the 4th. No signs of struggle, no traces left behind. It was like the world just erased them. After the 3rd month, everyone started sleeping with the lights on. Doors locked, windows nailed shut. The police patrolled the streets at night, but it never made a difference. Whoever or whatever was doing it didn't stop. I was terrified. Every small sound, every creak sent me straight to the basement, where I hid every night someone disappeared. I told myself it wouldn't happen to me. Hey, thanks for following 104th Clone Squad. Hope you're having a good night. I told myself it wouldn't happen to me. I wasn't important enough, but fear doesn't care about logic. I became paranoid, bad dreams every single night. I'd think about all the missing people, see the pictures on their missing persons reports every time I closed my eyes. I could even imagine what their faces looked like when they did, twisted into agony and pain, haunting me. I got into the habit of checking my locks. Sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times. The only door I ever left open was the one to the basement, just in case I had to hide in the bunker below. The 4th was coming in, May 4th, my birthday, the 13th month. I told myself that was just a coincidence, but the thought stayed, chewing quietly at the edges of my mind. That night, the power went out just before midnight. It was so dark I could hear my own pulse in my ears. Then I heard the footsteps above me, soft, deliberate. I didn't wait. I ran for the basement, locked the door, sat against it, flashlight clutched tight. I stayed down there for hours. The sound stopped eventually, or maybe I just stopped hearing it. When I woke up, daylight was seeping through the little window near the ceiling. It was over. I'd made it through another night. I almost laughed. I was shaking, but alive. Then I noticed the smell. It was faint at first, sweet like iron and damp wood. I told myself it was the pipes, or the mold, or maybe something old rotting behind the walls. But when I stood up, my foot slipped in something wet. There was a dark stain on the floor, not large, but thick and dried at the edges. And there, in the corner, was the old storage room. The door was open. I thought maybe something had fallen over in the night. I took a step closer, but my flashlight flickered and died before I could see inside. The smell was stronger there. I told myself to leave it alone, to go upstairs, call someone, breathe fresh air, but when I turned, the basement door was wide open. I was sure I'd locked it. I didn't remember unlocking it. I climbed the stairs slowly, heart pounding, the boards groaning under my weight. The house was silent, still. Then I saw it, the trail. faint line of red smudges leading from the kitchen toward the basement door. My stomach turned. It wasn't fresh. It had dried, darkened, as if it had been there for days. I don't remember seeing it last night, or the night before, or any of the nights before that. The air in the house felt different, stale, heavy. I thought I heard something, a voice maybe, or a whisper, but it was only the wind pushing through the cracks. I stood there for a long time, staring at the stains, my mind trying to fit the pieces together. Every fourth, 2 people missing. I started to remember flashes, mud under my nails, cold air in my skin, faces I couldn't place, screaming, distant and muffled, like a dream I'd already forgotten. When I finally looked down at myself, my sleeves were stiff with something dark that had dried there. I looked around, my hands shaking and my stomach twisted into a knot. There were clothes in my laundry hamper, stained with dark, dried brown. They were piled. I couldn't even remember the last time I did laundry. I could find traces of it everywhere in my apartment. The smell was stronger now, so familiar I could almost taste it. I backed toward the basement, numb, unsteady. The air down there was cooler, quieter, easier to breathe. And then I understood. The basement wasn't where I hid from it. It was where I woke up after. Nice. Very nice. That was I Thought Hiding in My Basement Would Keep Me Safe by The Real Grape Vampire on our Scary Stories Reddit. Let's go find some more scary stories. I might be here a while. Make yourselves at home, cuddle into bed, maybe get some hot chocolate or something. Whatever you like. Alright, let me get my thing back so y'all can see where I'm at on Reddit. And we can browse stuff together and laugh at funny things. I need to change it to monitor, and then now we are here. That was a very, very solid short one. Has 100 upvotes for a reason. Boop. The demon is messing with a pregnant woman. I can't get over that title, I'm sorry. Ooh, it came from the swamp. Flies. I'm a prolific slasher killer. I'm considering retiring. Also, the close-up shows the details on your model well. The glowing eyes are a nice touch for story time. Oh, you like the close-up? You like it? Me too, I like it too. Boop. Yep. I think we're gonna do more story time streams. As much as I like gaming, ow, pain. As much as I like gaming, I'm just like, I don't know, I'll play like boring space games and I just sit here and like Super Cruise and I like Dangerous or Quantum Drive and Star Citizen. I'm like, wow, look at the stars, guys. Whoa, space is so big. Oh, did you see that one? That one was, that's a star. Yeah, that's a star. Yeah, you guys like stars. Alright, anyway. Let me find it. Let's read this one. This looks good. I think, oh, I have an idea. I should do like a story time for every like holiday and stuff. Like every single, like every season. Like I can do like Christmas story time. Read Christmas stories, right? Stuff like that. Let me change the background real quick to change this back to chatting. Yeah, we can read like Christmas stories. Alright. Oh, if you have a real passion for a game, being dedicated to it can be a deep well of content, but otherwise being a variety streamer is the way to go. Yeah, I mean, like, alright, so before I read this, I just gotta like say like something that's been like really how do I say this? Something that's been like my main struggle point with my content so far. So I was a lot of you may know I'm like a Star Citizen gamer, or I was. I used to love that game. I'm not gonna go into like a big rant about it, but it's like gone in a direction that I don't really like now. And that's really it. Like, it's not what I paid for, and every patch is a mess. It's like I can't play it dedicated anymore. I just can't. It's just not. It just doesn't make me happy, you know. And I want to be happy. I feel like this is the happiest stream I've had in a while, just telling stories. Even for those who are dedicated to following benefit from having breaks from more casual stuff, don't be afraid of being seen as content farming. Every live streamer does it. There are so many hours to fill. Yeah, and this makes me happy. But yeah, it's like I'm gonna try to do more stuff. I'm glad I could stream tonight and do stuff. It's feels good. I am going to click around here and see something real quick. Then I'm going to read to you all and do stuff. Okay, I'm gonna read to you guys now. If I can find my way around these tabs. Where am I? Oh, where is it? Alright, so this story we have here is called I Am a Prolific Slasher Killer. I'm Considering Retiring by yellow_lights_ on r/scary stories. Oh, I gotta get a voice for this one. Gotta think. I'm just gonna roll with it. Maybe you've heard of me if you're living out of the East Coast. I know you have. Oh wait, let me start again. Maybe you've heard of me. If you're living out of the East Coast, I know you have. I am a prolific slasher. More kills per night than some of the greats. And I did it all in the heart of a major city. I'm not some classless, wet, smelly, wild man out in the woods. Eat your heart out, Jason. I'm the real deal. For years, I've racked up some pretty great kills with my bat. It was truly my muse. My dad bought me it when I was about 10. A proper Louisville slugger. I had to have cracked about 100 people's skulls open with that thing, and not even a single chip in a glaze. He's a real quality club. They call me Mr. Happy. A name I didn't get the opportunity to choose. I was going through a wealthy, I think, governor? Never asked what his job was. Anyway, I was killing his entire household. I was still new to the slasher game. I was wearing this yellow smiley face mask. It was from that old book series. I think it was called Mr. Men. I got it for like $1 at a corner store. So anyways, I was drowning the guy's wife in their pool, and a maid ran out. She had to be no older than 16. I just didn't have the heart to kill her. I figured, what the hell? There's plenty of great sprees that end with a survivor. Might as well be this poor girl. How does the maid repay me? Telling the news that my name was fucking Mr. Happy? That's not menacing. What about the bloody batter or the yellow ghost or something with branding potential? Before you ask, no, the name isn't why I'm considering retirement. I complain about it, but in a weird way. It grew on me. In a lot of ways, I am a man of tradition. Hell, I never stopped wearing the happy face mask. So if my life is so perfect, why would I be retiring? Well, not to get too personal, but my dad passed away. The city was his whole world. Everywhere I went, I was reminded of the man. So when he passed, I gathered my things, bought a van, put a mattress in the back, and drove away. I would say it was slumming it, but my previous residencies were mostly abandoned buildings, so road life really suited me. I will say, I don't get a lot of nature. It's itchy, unpredictable, boring to look at. I missed the concrete of the city. That's the biggest mistake I made traveling. I decided to go south. Days before I started my journey, I read something about southern food. I'm a bit of a foodie, so I figured it would be fun to start the drive going south down the east coast. Of course, I didn't take into account the lack of civilization the further down the country I went. Give me a break. I've never left my hometown before. It's not all bad. I'm learning a lot of new lessons I never knew I needed to learn. Knowing that, you can understand how excited I was when I finally hit a town. Though it was a small one, it looked like a nice place to park and explore. Decent enough architecture. I drove around trying to find a nice spot to park. I checked on maps to find a good rest stop and place to eat. Just my luck, a small diner rested about just 2 miles west of the town. They offered 24-hour parking. I like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, so that became my plan. I drove up to the old place. It was nightfall, but I could see the diner clearly. The lights on it were illuminating it in the dark. It was a really retro-looking building. It had the chrome paneling and everything. A giant neon sign on the roof, held up with rusty scaffolding. In crimson light, it read Red Rebel Diner. A little tacky, but at least these places had a theme. I sat outside for a bit, smoked a cigarette, and walked around the ancient building. Nothing to note. An open door revealed a greasy kitchen. I finished my cigarette and walked back to the front. I opened the door and was greeted by the jingling of bells in the face of a sour-looking woman. She was on the older side, a bit overweight, and looked like she was very upset that a customer was walking in. She sighed, "Hey there, hun. Sit anywhere you like." Her country twang radiating throughout the empty diner. I nodded and I sat in a little booth next to the entrance. Looking to my side, I noticed a bug crawling on the seat. I picked him up and started playing with him in my hand. Eventually, she came over. She threw down 1 menu and a napkin with plastic silverware. If Southern hospitality extended to their diners, this place was abnormal. I gave my options once over. Nothing special. But I'm a sucker for a good cheeseburger. I waved at the lady. Hey, can I just get a cheeseburger and fries? However you guys make it. She scoffed and walked into the back. I heard talking, presumably to someone working in the kitchen. A word that describes me as nosy. So when the lady didn't return from the back, I decided it might be interesting to listen in on what they were talking about. Another word that describes me is quiet. I've spent a lot of time stalking in the shadows. I don't make a lot of noise. I crept over to the door, still holding my little insect friend, and listened. What the fuck are we going to do, David? Why did you have to spring this on me now? This could have waited until after we closed. A female voice said, almost yelling in a whisper. Barbara, I told you already. He got out. I had no choice. He's not a problem anymore. We just have to clean him up. A male voice this time, much louder, more stern. Either way, we have to deal with the customer. I'll just hurry up with his burger. Oh, I think that's the male voice. Either way, we have to deal with this customer. I'll just hurry up with this burger. And the male voice was cut off by the voice of the woman. David, you brainless idiot. He was a camper. He's probably planning on staying here all night. We have to deal with him now. Just add sauce to the burger and figure out what's next. I heard footsteps approaching the door, so I swiftly made my way back to my spot in the booth. The conversation was certainly sinister, but I didn't seem to be in immediate danger. I made the decision to play dumb as soon as the waitress opened the door. She pretended to keep busy and clean behind the counter, but I saw through her act. She was keeping an eye on me. Eventually, the chef came out from behind the door, holding in his hand my food. He placed it down on the table in front of me gently, then scurried off back to his kitchen hideaway. I opened the burger, seeing the sauce they must have been talking about. Looked like a ketchup, but lumpy. It was probably ketchup. If I had to guess, it was probably mixed with some kind of powdered poison. Judging by the look of these two, it was probably rat poison. Enough rat poison to make ketchup lumpy. Ooh. I noticed the woman getting nervous when I opened the bun, so I added some salt to the burger to make a show of it. Then I checked the fries. Seemed to be clean. No lumpy sauce. It was probably a smart bet to assume they were also sprinkled with poison. Guess I wouldn't get to eat after all, I thought. I placed my bug on top of... I'm sorry. I placed my bug on top of the fries, righted myself, and gasped. Loud enough for the waitress to hear me. As if on cue, she walked over to the table. What's the problem, hon? She said, trying to hide the hint of nerves in her voice. I pointed at my friend. There was a bug on my plate. I pointed at him, perched atop his throne of fries. She leaned in a bit closer to look... I'm sorry. She leaned in a bit closer to look at him. I saw the sweat on her forehead. She looked worried. She was trying to think of something to say or do. While she paused, I slid past her shoulder, grabbing a lump of her hair in my hand. I stood up for leverage and tore her head down into the corner of the metal table, slamming her jaw first. I let go of the hair, tangled in my fist, letting the limp woman fall to the ground. I aimed and stomped the heel of my boot down the back of her skull, painting the ground black and white tiles red. I moved quietly and swiftly out of the front door, turning the open sign to say closed. As I walked out the door, I knew the poisonous chef would have heard the commotion and come to investigate when he realized the sound wasn't a burger-filled mouth hitting the table. I made my way around back of the diner, grabbing a crowbar I spotted on my cigarette break espionage. I moved through the open back door to the greasy kitchen. I saw the chef peeking through the door to the dining room, staring at his now leaking wife on the ground. I looked around the room, greasing on the inside, a red puddle leading to a giant cooler built into the wall. Enough details. I crept slowly toward the oblivious man, I avoided stepping in his mess. I didn't want to spread the puddle any further. I wanted the splatter I was about to create to cover this. I spun the crowbar in my hand excitedly. My heart was thumping, when suddenly he turned around. I got to see the surprise in the old man's face before I caved in his temple with the crowbar. Not quite a home run kill. I didn't have my pet. It was buried with Dad back at home. But you know what they say? Only a poor craftsman blames his tools. The crowbar did its job, and I'll tell you, his wife was right. David was certainly brainless. Oh my god. I, however, didn't quite cover the dried blood that had already littered the ground. There was a lot of it. If the stain was mud, I would have thought the kitchen was a pig pen. I decided that the blood trail could wait. I needed to be thorough, make sure the dead couple were actually dead. No one wants a leaky wife. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was never one for checking pulses. More often than not, you can just tell by just hitting them a couple times. The gentleman was currently missing half his head. Not wanting to beat a dead horse, I moved on to the lady in the dining room. She wasn't looking much better. Her head, however, was still intact. I decided to drag her into the kitchen and check in there. If she wasn't dead yet, I'd want her to die with her husband. I know what you're thinking. I'm a bit of a sap when it comes to love. Since they were reunited... Ow. Hey, Astral Kingdom, thank you for the follow. How you doing tonight? Since they were reunited, I took the time to lock the front door for good measure. The last thing I wanted was another passerby to walk in unannounced. I figured that's probably how these people probably felt when I walked in. After locking the door, I walked back to the freezer door, the blood trail inviting me in like a red carpet leading to a rusty metal door. I pulled the bulky handle, noticing the hinge was slightly broken. The door opened with no resistance, revealing a smoky and chilly cooler. Nothing out of place at first glance until I poked my head inside. I felt the cold air on my cheeks. I hate to admit it, but killing 2 people built up a sweat in me. I walked in the cooler, following the blood trail a little deeper. It led just out of view, behind a shelf filled with jars of what looked like sauce. I readied my crowbar and turned the corner. I was met with a dead body. It was a young girl, black skirt, green tank. She was headless, from the looks of it, recently so. I assumed this is the mess they were trying to clean up when I first arrived. How the body got here was not exactly a grand mystery. I mean, there was a literal trail leading to her. However, there were a couple interesting questions I didn't have an answer to necessarily. Firstly, why were the owners of a back road diner killing people? I didn't necessarily need the answer. However, I can't help but kick myself a bit for killing David and the other one before asking. Secondly, and most interestingly, this girl is missing her head. I haven't been able to find it. I searched for a good while, too. I stuffed the couple in the freezer with the body and cleaned up the entire restaurant. In that time, I couldn't find it anywhere. That's getting a bit ahead of myself, though. Usually I don't clean up after myself. It's not exactly slashery. What's the point of doing this if there's no evidence, you know? But I had an interesting idea when I saw the woman's body in the fridge. What if I took over this diner? It's a job, and it pays. It's something I can see my dad being proud of me doing. So I spent the whole night cleaning. I had to Google a lot of tips because I had no idea what I was doing, but I didn't even know tiles could stain. I think I did a good job for a beginner. I left all the bodies in the freezer, making sure to take their wallets and their keys. The waitress's name was Barbara Blower. The waitress's name was Barbara Blower. And the chef's name was David Blower. I'm so sorry. My initial plan was to take their last name and say I was the couple's son, finally home from college. But I'm not going to tell everyone my name is Blower. That's a terrible name. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. These horror authors are so fucking funny. Barbara fucking Blower. Okay, let me keep going. Alright, back in character. Once I got everything cleaned up, I left through the front door, locking it behind me with my newly acquired keys. The sun was rising, and it was time for me to get some sleep. I was planning on moving the van to the back and sleeping there, but in the light of day, I saw a house sitting on the hill behind the diner. The path leading to the house was only accessible from the parking lot. I examined my new keys and figured it was worth a try. I walked up the path and climbed the stairs to the door. The house was ancient. Walking on the porch, I was greeted with creaks and bellows. I opened the screen door and tried the keys on the intimidating ornate door behind it. After about 5 failed attempts to unlock the door, the 6th key worked. The interior was marked with what you'd expect in a nice southern home. Doilies. What are doilies? Anyone want to help me out here? What are these? Doilies on every surface, mismatched furniture, ashtrays in every room. I didn't sense any movement in the house. However, I couldn't be too careful. I mustered my best David impression based on the 2 sentences I heard from him. Hello, I'm home. I only got silence as a response. They're lace thingies? They're a decorative fabric thing. Doilies are crotcheted little throws. Decorative and mostly for furniture. Oh, I see. I searched every room. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, kitchen, basement, attic, and living room. Only sign of life was a doghouse out back, which looked to be long abandoned. Worked for me, I never liked dogs. Once I confirmed the house was empty, I made myself cozy. Grabbed the fluffiest blanket and hopped onto the softest looking bed. It was time for a power nap. Oh my god, the reflux is so bad with me today. Ooh-wee. Okay, I'm good now. Continuing. That brings me to the present. I just woke up and decided to write this out. Still trying to figure out a good alias. I also need to learn to cook, so any tips would be appreciated. I found a postcard marked Casey Blower. I've always liked the name Casey. The name Blower, on the other hand, has got to go. I'll say I ditched it. How about Casey Man? I used to be a Mr. Man, after all. As I said, I'm a man of tradition, so what if Casey comes back? I'll kill him. That's what. I don't know. I'll keep working on it. Until I figure it out, I'm Mr. Happy, and I have a diner to open. Oh, that was funny. That was funny. That story was called I'm a Prolific Slasher Killer. I'm considering retiring, by yellow_lights_ on r/scary stories. Let me leave them a nice comment. Let me change the music. Time is it? How long have I been going for? 2 hours? I got more in me. It is 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. almost, I believe. I must keep going. I must read all the scary stories. Let me see this. Thank you again for the reading. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna switch my stuff up here now, so y'all can see what's going on. Ah, you are a bit ahead of us then. Yup. I'm gonna become a late night streamer probably. Kind of a good time to catch people going to sleep. If I'm gonna be doing like Storytime readings. Alright, what else do we got here? You wanna see my whole model? What else do we got? Let's see. I give you an update. I really like the first person stories because they are challenging to read. Because you have to like kinda get into the character. Oh wow, I'm far away. There we go. If your voice would be comfortable with that, it could be a gig. Oh yeah, I can do all kinds of voices actually. I have a high range. Let me show you all guys. Let me try one. I'm not straining. I have to drink water though. Hi, I can also sound like this too, but I choose not to do that because it's tough. I can also sound like this. Hey, welcome to Starbucks. What can get you started today? Hi. What else we got here? People used to say like I sounded like a radio announcer when I was working at Starbucks, because I'd constantly use that voice. We can do some dialogue then. Oh yeah. Hey, what you buying? Self collab. Oh, this collab with myself. Fucking easy. Yo, who? I'm about to be dissected, but first I'm going to tell you about my first love. Okay, no. The customer service voice, TM. Ooh, what the blizzard brought. How long is this one? Oh, this one's long. Oh my god. Just get multiple models and make sure your other one is always draining water. Oh man. One second. I am like oh, drinking water. Oh yeah. It's like I have like a big bottle of water here. Also, alright, so that didn't. I think my follows and stuff have been working. Oh my god. I would read this, but I'm gonna save it as I'm gonna be doing this again. I wanna read. That'd be too much reading. Mom probably regrets buying me from the iChild store. Okay. Interesting. Yo, what if I wrote some stories too and just read those? I want to do that. I want to write again, man. Visits to the county fair. This is like barely even a story here. I'll just read it like this. Wait, you all can see like the detail in my model like this. Alright. Visits to the county fair. I haven't really had the chance to get to know my roommate. He's kind of a weird guy and I don't see much of him. But when he told me one Saturday that I should come to the county fair where he would be working, I saw it as a good opportunity to make a connection. You'll love it, man, especially all the hot people. He laughed. It's the best. I wasn't totally convinced, but I figured I'll give it a shot. So the next day, I drove out to the fair on the edge of town to visit him and maybe even enjoy the fair while I was at it. I will admit, I was a bit disappointed when I arrived. The fair wasn't in the best shape, with littered wrappers and half-eaten fair food filling the spaces between rundown rides. It looked like they were trying to make it look nice, and a good amount of people were there, but the whole atmosphere was still underwhelming. I guess my roommate also had a different definition of hot people than me, because I didn't really notice anyone to write home about, let alone a lot. Not that I was really looking for anyone. It was only after an hour or so of looking that I realized my roommate had never said where he worked at the fair. I had no idea if he was a ride operator, a food vendor, or a janitor. I was getting hungry by then as well, so I stopped by a food stand and bought a greasy hot dog that was in no way worth $7. I rode one more of the safer looking rides and decided to call it a day. My roommate didn't get back until late. I told him that I had been there and couldn't find him. He laughed and apologized, explaining that he worked in the kitchen at the food court area. He insisted that I come back the next day, promising it would be worth it. I drove back out to the fair the next day, wondering how much I really cared to invest in this roommate relationship. Once at the food court, I asked a couple of workers about my roommate, but they said that they were both new and didn't know anybody. I passed some time on some rides and doubled back to look again without any luck. Sadly, the food choices were not great, so it was another greasy hot dog for lunch before I drove home. When I finally saw my roommate that evening, he apologized that he had been working in the back all day long and begged me to come back the next day. I don't know why, but I decided to give it one more shot. The fair looked even gloomier when I came back for the third time. I should have asked him to leave a ticket for me at the gate because I wasn't thrilled to be paying admission a third time. I made a beeline through the sagging structures to the food court, where I was relieved to see my roommate working. He smiled when he saw me and asked his boss for a 10-minute break, then grabbed a hot dog for each of us and led me to a table. I wasn't thrilled at the thought of my third day of eating one of those for lunch, but I knew he was trying to make up for missing me the first 2 days. "What do you think?" he asked when I had finished. "Of the food?" I asked. "It's alright. I mean, it's about what I'd expect from fair food." "Come on, man. I knew you'd love that. I knew you'd love the hot people. Can't get 'em anywhere else." My brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" He laughed. "I mean, it doesn't make total sense since hot dogs aren't made with dog meat, but we just think it's kind of funny. Come on, let me take you to the back and show you how we make them." Okay. It was funny. I kind of caught on. Kind of caught on a little bit. It was fun, though. Funny one, fun. It's almost 12 a.m. Whoa. Alright. I'm gonna call it here because I'm getting tired. I had lots of fun though. We're gonna go raid someone. Anyone. Let's raid. Yep, I had a lot of fun today. Yep, I'm tired. Plus my voices. I'm gonna lose my voice. Yeah, I'll lose my voice. Was the mic quality good through that? Oh, thanks. Was it ever, like, too much, too little? Or was it just right? Awesome, mic was good. Nice. We're gonna raid, someone. I have so many people here. Might just raid one of my partners. Let's see what Fox is doing. There's another Fox. She plays Monster Hunter a lot.
It's actually a lot. Hunt's good. It's mostly been pretty chill, actually.
Alright, let's raid out to her.
Alright, thank you for stepping up for Hunt's Panda.
A secret colony of fox tubers, probably.
Great fun as always.
This was one of them.
How was stream? Starring?
How was stream? Let's go tell her how stream was. Come on, guys, get ready to raid. Let's go visit. Alright.
Sure.
I'll catch y'all later. I do have a Discord, be sure to join it. There it is. I'm gonna move y'all over to her now. But yeah, you'll have a nice night. I'm gonna do more of these streams more often because they're easy, they're fun for me, and I get to talk to you guys and interact. Alright, you'll have a great night. It was fun. Bye bye.
Hey, sorry, thank you for the raid.